Hey Colin, Ryan, Kurt here. I'm going to zoom in. I did look at three different options for where we could put the septic tank to hold the tote bins that would collect our wastewater. So I'm going to zoom in on option one, and that's it right here. And so, this would be the layout, and this would be putting the tank on the outside. See where the tote bins would go. This would be, if you had access to the top, that would be the manhole cover, which would have to be a custom made top. The manhole covers as built would fall, I don't even show them here, the manhole covers as built would fall on top of the tote bins roughly, and it would be impossible to get in the in here to work on the pump or piping, so you'd have to custom make a top if you wanted if you wanted to get in through the top via manhole cover. One option, if we go on the outside, the soil significantly pitches away from the building in this area, and I'm just guessing that what we could do is we could put in a side hatch, so modify it, and then so you could be accessing it through the side, and just leave the standard manhole covers that are on the top, which wouldn't do us any good because we won't be able to get in there anyway. So it'd be like a 6 or 8 inch clearance between the manhole covers and the tote bins, if I remember right. So here's the pros. I think it would be easier installation just because you don't have to have super heavy equipment on the inside, but you have to have super heavy equipment on the outside. So I don't know, maybe not easier installation, but putting the door on that side would be a little nicer to get in, maybe. The cons, obviously, it's outside, so you got to have heat tape on your piping, and then it's confined space. Then option two is we could put it on the inside in the brewery area, and I didn't put it over where my mouse is because what you have here is a column, and that column ultimately leads to a footing, and the footing comes out like it comes out to about where my mouse is here. It comes out about 1'4". I can't remember the exact number, but there's a footing that goes way down, and certainly when we're digging, we're going to be getting into that world. So I decided, well, let's shift it over a little bit, and in trying to keep some kind of a spot here where we could collect some of the gunk that we don't want going into our tote bins, like spent grain. So this is a catch basin right here. So that's where I put the tote bins. As you see, you could push one tote bin over. So the problem is, inside easy access, we would have an open top. Problem that I can see is, and what I'm showing here is, future expansion. This would be where we'd have some kind of a door, whether it's a sliding door or something, but some way to get into the cold storage room with forklifts, because this would be where we'd be putting beer for distribution, and so a forklift would be going this way. So if you have an open top, like some kind of a grid, grating, whatever, if we're washing up anywhere in this area and water goes flying over, it's going to collect in there. It's also going to collect a lot of crud and corruption, just because we're going to be going over that all the time with forklift traffic. And then one thing to not overlook, because I feel this is going to be at least a couple $1,000 expenses, the engineering cost for coming up with some kind of forklift compatibility top. It's not going to be cheap. I think it's easy for us to say, yeah, it would be, but just my experience, that's not going to be a slam dunk there. And also the other cost is we'd have to do an engineering study to verify. This is going to be the light duty, what I'm calling the base, the bottom part of the septic tank, and what you have to worry about is the loads as a forklift is approaching either way. The loads that is pushing on the sides of the walls, and the heavy duty tanks, I didn't give you put a heavy duty tank in because the geometry is different, and just there's no way to make the tote bins work. It actually gets pretty tight between the tote bin and the wall, so we've got the geometry forces us with the lighter duty, and so there would be some engineering costs here. Not that, and it's not anything that you couldn't overcome, but by the time you did that, you'd probably want to wish you went another way. So the third option, and I think might actually be the best option, is what we do is we pitch all of the sewer towards this way into the distillery area. Here we can go with a light duty, the open top, toe pins as you've seen. We'll put the catch basin here. Again, the catch basin is just to collect crud and corruption. That'd be something we'd have to clean out regularly, but that would keep the spent grains, most spent grains hopefully, from going into the toe pins and settling in there. So the pros, it's inside, it's easy access. There's a lot lower engineering costs because I think it's going to be a lot easier for us to go to work around that if you're on a forklift. The cons, you're going to have to demo more concrete. Woo! And getting this physically into the building, the problem's going to be right here. It's a little tight. I don't have this. These I put on. They're roughly dimensioned, but I don't have exact dimensions. But the septic tank dimensions, length this way is 9 foot 9 inches. The width 6 foot 9 inches this way, and then the height. So if we flipped it on its side to go through here, the height is 5 foot. So it might work, but boy, it's just going to be a bear getting it in here. So those are the three options. Let me know what you think.